The desert night was a black void, broken only by the distant flicker of muzzle flashes and the thunder of incoming mortars. In the heart of a forsaken valley in Afghanistan, 340 US Marines were pinned down, surrounded, and running out of time. Their radios crackled with desperate pleas, but command had gone silent. Orders were to hold position, no rescue authorized. Then, against all protocol, a lone figure in a cockpit defied the chain of command. Captain Elena Vasquez, a medevac pilot with a fire in her gut, made a choice that would rewrite history. She ignored the stand-down order and flew straight into hell to pull those men out. If you're ready for a story of raw courage and defiance that'll leave you speechless, hit that subscribe button now, and let's dive in. Elena Vasquez wasn't supposed to be anywhere near that war zone. A 32-year-old Navy pilot from San Diego, she'd logged countless hours ferrying the wounded out of harm's way, her Black Hawk helicopter a lifeline in the chaos of combat. Her call sign, Viper, wasn't just for show. She had a reputation for threading the needle through enemy fire with a calm that unnerved even the grizzled grunts she rescued. But on this night, October 14, 2012, the mission was different. The 340 Marines of the One Stone Battalion, 8th Marine Regiment, were trapped in the Sangin Valley, a Taliban stronghold nicknamed the Devil's Garden. An ambush had turned their patrol into a death trap. Outnumbered 10-1, low on ammo, and with wounded piling up, they were staring down annihilation. Back at Camp Bastion, Elena was off duty, nursing a coffee in the ops tent, when the distress call came through. The Marines' commander, Major Tom Harlan, a man known for his iron resolve, was on the radio, his voice steady but laced with urgency. "We're surrounded, heavy casualties, need immediate evac. The response from higher-ups was cold, negative, too hot, hold position until dawn. Dawn was 8 hours away, 8 hours those Marines didn't have." Elena's blood boiled. She'd seen too many good men left behind because of protocol. Her co-pilot, Chief Warrant Officer Mike Sully Sullivan, caught her eye. "You hearing this?" she whispered. Sully, a wiry Texan with a knack for bending rules, just nodded. "What's the play, Viper?" Elena didn't hesitate. She grabbed her flight helmet and sprinted to her Black Hawk, call sign Viper 1. The crew chief, Sergeant Lisa Torres, was already prepping the bird, sensing the urgency in Elena's stride. "Ma'am, we don't have clearance," Lisa said, her voice tight. "Don't care," Elena shot back, strapping in. "Those are our boys out there." Sully slid into the co-pilot's seat, a grim smile on his face. "Guess we're breaking some rules tonight." The rotors spun up, and Viper 1 lifted off into the night, no authorization, no backup, just a pilot with a mission and a crew crazy enough to follow her. The flight to Sangin was a gauntlet. Taliban fighters controlled the skies with RPGs and heavy machine guns. Elena flew nap of the earth, skimming ridgelines at 150 knots, her night vision goggles painting the world in ghostly green. Tracer rounds stitched the air around them, pinging off the helicopter's armor. 2 o'clock RPG! Sully yelled, and Elena banked hard left, the missile streaking harmlessly past. Her hands were steady, but her heart pounded. She wasn't just risking her life, she was risking her career, her freedom, maybe even a court-martial. But the thought of those 340 Marines bleeding out in the dirt kept her foot on the throttle. As Viper 1 approached the valley, the scene was apocalyptic. The Marines had formed a desperate perimeter around a bombed-out compound, their M16s, and saw machine guns barking defiance. Bodies littered the ground, some moving, some not. The Taliban were closing in, their shouts echoing through the night. Elena's radio crackled again, Major Harlan's voice cutting through static. "Viper 1, you are not cleared for landing." "Repeat, stand down." Elena keyed the mic, her voice like steel. "Negative, Major, I'm coming in. Get your men ready." Harlan didn't argue. He knew what this meant. The landing zone was a nightmare. The compound's courtyard was barely big enough for one helicopter, let alone the multiple trips it would take to extract 340 men. Elena hovered above the chaos, dust and debris swirling in the rotor wash. Sully manned the door gun, laying down suppressive fire with the M240. "Go, go, go!" he shouted as the first group of Marines scrambled aboard, dragging their wounded brothers. Blood smeared the deck, and the air reeked of gunpowder and sweat. Elena didn't flinch. She lifted off, climbed out of the kill zone, and raced back to Bastion, unloading the wounded before turning around for another run. Trip after trip, Elena and her crew pushed Viper 1 to its limits. The helicopter was taking hits, bullet holes peppered the fuselage, and the engine screamed under the strain. On the third run, an RPG clipped the tail rotor. The Black Hawk shuddered, spinning wildly. "We're going down!" Sully yelled, but Elena wrestled the controls, auto-rotating into a dry riverbed just outside the compound. The impact jarred her teeth, but the bird was still flyable. "Torres, patch that rotor," she ordered. Lisa, covered in grease and blood, worked a miracle with duct tape and spare parts, getting them airborne in under 10 minutes. The Taliban weren't letting up. They'd called in reinforcements, and now anti-aircraft guns were zeroing in. Elena's fourth approach was met with a wall of lead. A round shattered the windshield, grazing Sully's arm. He gritted his teeth, tying a tourniquet with one hand while firing the door gun with the other. "Keep her steady, Viper," he growled. Elena's eyes narrowed. She wasn't leaving anyone behind. She landed long enough to load 12 more Marines, including a young corporal with a gut wound who kept whispering his daughter's name. "You tell her Daddy's coming." "Home," Elena said, her voice fierce. The kid nodded, tears cutting tracks through the dirt on his face. By the 6th run, command was losing it. The base commander, Colonel Rayburn, got on the horn, furious. "Vasquez, you are in direct violation of orders. Return to base now." Elena's response was ice cold, "Sir. With all due respect, those men are dying." "I'm not stopping." She clicked off the mic. The crew exchanged looks. No one was turning back, but the twists kept coming. On the 7th trip, Elena spotted a Taliban technical, a truck mounted with a DSK machine gun racing toward the compound. If it reached the Marines, it was game over. "Sully, take it out," she said. Sully leaned out, unloading a burst that sent the truck up in flames. The explosion lit up the valley, buying the Marines precious minutes. The rescues were grueling. Each trip meant dodging fire, triaging the wounded, and making gut-wrenching choices about who to take first. Elena's crew was running on fumes, their hands blistered from loading stretchers. The Marines, though, were unbreakable. Major Harlan organized the evac with precision, prioritizing the critical while keeping the perimeter tight. One Marine, Sergeant Jake Riley, a lanky kid from Ohio, refused to board until every wounded man was out. "I'm walking, ma'am," he told Elena, his rifle still smoking. She wanted to argue, but there was no time. As dawn broke, the impossible became real. Elena's final run pulled out the last 22 men, including Major Harlan, who'd taken shrapnel in the leg. The valley was quiet now, littered with enemy dead and the smoldering wreckage of their weapons. Viper 1 was a wreck, leaking fuel, riddled with holes, one engine coughing, but it held together long enough to limp back to Bastion. When they touched down, the tarmac was lined with medics, brass, and a crowd of silent, awestruck Marines. Elena stepped out, her flight suit torn and bloodied, and the cheers erupted. Those 340 men, every single one, were alive because of her. The aftermath wasn't all heroics. Colonel Rayburn was waiting, his face a mask of rage. Elena was grounded, facing a court-martial for disobeying orders. The Navy didn't care that she'd saved 340 lives. Rules were rules. But the Marines had other plans. Major Harlan, still on crutches, led a campaign. Every man from the One Stone Battalion wrote letters demanding Elena be honored, not punished. The story leaked to the press, and soon the nation was talking about the pilot who defied command to save her brothers. Public outcry forced the Navy's hand. The charges were dropped, and Elena was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross in a ceremony that left hardened warriors in tears. But the cost was heavy. Sully needed surgery for his arm. Lisa Torres, the crew chief, still has nightmares about the blood-soaked deck. And Elena? She carried the weight of every life she saved, and the ones she couldn't. Years later, she'd visit the corporal with the gut wound, now a father coaching Little League. his daughter waving shyly from the bleachers. Moments like that kept her going, but the scars of that night never faded. Elena Vasquez's story is a testament to what one person can do when the system fails. She wasn't a superhero, just a pilot who refused to let 340 Marines be left for dead. Her defiance wasn't about glory, it was about duty, about the unspoken pact that no one gets left behind. The Sangin Valley tried to break her, but she broke it instead, pulling those men out of hell against all odds. That's the story of Viper 1, a night that changed lives forever. Now I want to hear from you. Where are you watching this video from? Drop your city or state in the comments below, and let's see how far this story's reaching. If you felt every heartbeat of this tale, smash that like button, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more stories of courage that hit you right in the soul. Until next time, stay bold, stay true, and never leave a brother behind.